It is hypothesized that the first time humans ever got on top of the back of a horse and rode it around was teenage boys, too young to go on the hunt, too old to hang around the cave with the younger children and the women. I think it's probably a good guess. Humans rode around for a while until they decided to invent the stirrup so they could stand up while riding a horse. Once they invented the stirrup, U-shape on top, flat on the bottom, slide your foot in. They started to invent a little heel so your foot wouldn't go all the way through. They started to bunch up the toes so you could get it into the stirrup better. China, year 500s. In India, they had a loop for the foot just to help you get on and off. But they rode elephants without stirrups. So riding horses without stirrups, just using the loop to get on and off, that makes some sense. Then, with the silk trade and the spice trade, stirrups came across to Europe. And humans are still bunching up their toes and putting a lift under their heel of their shoe, even in running shoes and exercise shoes, when it is flat out established that the fastest runners in the world run on the balls of their foot barefoot. No heel lift needed. We are still stuck in the stirrups without thinking. A friend of mine who became a physical therapist, when he was back in school to be a physical therapist, asked me, well, how could the whole shoe industry be wrong? 'Cause they're vertebrates on a ball in space. That's how. They're not asking the better questions. No, your toes don't need to be bunched up. No, you don't need a lift under your heel unless it's like 2.5 inches so you're on the balls of your feet like the fastest runners. That's why a high heel is not as bad as a low heel. Yes, and the low heel pushes your whole body just a little bit into bad posture, and every bone responds to that, because at any given time your skeleton is only 10 years old. After age 10, your skeleton is always changing. No, you don't need a little lift under your heel. Yes, I recommend the Calso Earth Shoe negative heel technology, pushing you into good posture. The main point being, we're still stupidly bunching up our toes and putting a lift under the heel because stirrups were a good idea once upon a time. I was carrying around an ad from a magazine for flooring. The camera's looking down on the flooring. It looks like wood, but it's plastic, so it's easy to clean. And they show 2 pairs of children's feet barefoot, because the point was it's easy to clean. When you got children, you need to clean the floor. Both children were barefoot, and both children already had crooked toes. Because we put children into round-toed shoes before they can walk. And it is very hard to keep buying new shoes for children while their feet are growing so quickly. Nobody needs a rounded or pointed-toed shoe. In his book, Guns, Germs, and Steel, Jared Diamond was doing a shopping trip, planning to go up into the mountains of New Guinea with his friend, the New Guinea chief. Jared Diamond had people with him. The Guinea chief had people with him. They went shopping for supplies. Not one shoe, not one hiking boot in the whole store would fit the chief or his friends, because growing up barefoot, the fronts of their feet were wide. Not like any shoes we expect people to run in today. Even the Vibram 5-finger shoes are not wide like toes can be. Be all you can be in the feet.